In the spirit of Spotify Wrapped and what used to be the YouTube Rewind video that came out every year, I wanted to do a nail community rewind for the year of 2024 while getting ready. Let's chat about what's happened this year. I'm just gonna go in chronological order here from kind of the beginning of this year slash tail end of last year. The first thing I'm aware of that happened late last year slash early this year was the Cirque mystery bags. So sometime around October of last year, there were a lot of complaints of Cirque mystery bags because people were ordering 2 mystery bags and basically getting the exact same mystery bag in both of them. Cirque did have on their site that there might be duplicates, and they did not guarantee that there were exact, unique shades if you were to order 2. However, a lot of people were getting like really unlucky bags in the sense that if they ordered 2 bags, got 10 polishes, they only got 5 unique colors. So the bag was exactly the same. I think a lot of people reached out to Cirque because at that price point, this is a luxury product, and people bought these bags because they were a good deal. Like if you're looking at Cirque, some polishes are in the $14, $15 range, and at that point, yeah, like you do expect better. Cirque did respond and essentially said that they would make accommodations for this one time, and basically has repeated that they did a per our last email type of response, saying that they did not promise that there would be no repeats if you ordered more. And again, Cirque is at a higher price point, so I understand people kind of expecting more from them than, say, if you were to buy just like a $5, $6 Morgan Taylor nail polish versus, again, Cirque being at that mid to high teens per bottle. I do a little bit feel like they got more backlash on this than they really deserved, because it was listed on their website that there could be duplicates if you order more than 1 mystery bag. I generally go into mystery bags with the thought process of like, this is fully a gamble. Even if I were to get unique shades, all unique shades, let's say I ordered 2 mystery bags, got 10 unique shades, I still go into it thinking I could get 10 polishes that I just purely don't like and just hope to be pleasantly surprised. At the beginning of this year though, they ran the mystery bags again, and it seems like they got a better response this time around because I was not seeing as much conversation about folks getting repeats anymore. But speaking about mystery polishes, I want to take a moment here and chat about 2 other mystery boxes slash mystery polish bags that are available that I've personally bought. The first one is the Beyond Polish one, and I didn't reach out to Beyond Polish about this because I didn't want to have to deal with customer service coming back to me and asking more questions and swapping stuff out. But I bought 2 of their mystery bags, and on their website they had basically said if you order more than 1 mystery bag in the same order, you won't get duplicates. I got duplicates in 1 bag. I got 2 China glazes. I don't remember exactly what the color was at this point, but it was 2 hot pinks in 1 bag, and then in the other bag got that same hot pink China glaze polish. So in terms of the actual polish, I think Cirque didn't do as bad as Beyond Polish, but the Beyond Polish bar was pretty low. I do want to shout out Color Club though, because I have bought mystery polishes from them and ordered, I want to say like 20 polishes or something like that. And they did put a cap on their website saying if you ordered more than X amount, then there isn't a guarantee that there will be no repeats. At that time, I think the cap for me was around like 20 or 25, so I ordered the max and I got no repeats. That's not to say you wouldn't get kind of a dupe within your collection, but in the actual order itself, I did not get a repeat. So shout out to Color Club and however they're handling the mystery polishes that they're sending out, because truly there was no repeat within that, which is incredibly impressive to me. And then if we move along the timeline through the year, the next big thing that came up was Mooncat. So about 5 months ago, which was in June, July-ish, someone posted on Reddit that Mooncat sent them to urgent care. Essentially what had happened was their nail polish bottle exploded. Like that's the best way it just spontaneously combusted. That's the best way of explaining what happened to them. I remember they posted about being really excited about the Powerpuff Girls collection coming out, and that's why they purchased from Mooncat. And their polish just exploded in their hands as they were holding it. That kicked off a lot of commentary around Mooncat, what was going on with their bottles, generally speaking, how safe their bottles were, and a lot of people started really inspecting their own bottles at home, and people were starting to notice some quality issues within the bottles, and we're talking about that on Reddit, online, kind of everywhere. And my 2 cents here is just, it's incredibly irresponsible for a brand to not think about the safety of their packaging, of their product, especially if you're thinking about, I mean, nail polish isn't like necessarily a volatile chemical that'll kill you, but nail polish is still a chemical product, and it's being stored in a glass bottle where if the glass shatters, it can cut you really bad. I think with Mooncat, there was an expectation essentially to like do better, because Mooncat is one of the more higher priced brands out there. And at that point, you do expect some of the money that's going into it not just to be because they want it to be a higher brand, but we expect better quality, right? Like if you're paying $20 for a polish, or around $20 for a polish versus paying $5 for a polish, I expect much more diligence to go into the quality checking of the bottles, of the actual polish, of everything associated with it, and not just kind of slapping on the label of this is a luxury product or a more luxury leaning product because we can. I think after that incident first came up on Reddit, it took a little longer than I personally would have liked for Mooncat to respond. And additionally, they did not post about it on their social media. So I went back and checked their Instagram to make sure I wasn't just like gaslighting myself into remembering or misremembering. But Mooncat did not post on their Instagram with a statement about any of the stuff that was happening with their exploding bottles. From what I could tell based off of the research that I did again to reconfirm details, they only emailed the people on their subscriber list. So anyone who's new or interested in Mooncat didn't really receive that notification of what was being done to kind of remedy the issue with the exploding bottles, which I again think is irresponsible. I can understand from like a brand owner's perspective how there may be some kind of legal implications that they're trying to make sure that they're aware of, but it just still, again, feels irresponsible to not tell your customer base across all platforms that this is happening with their bottles. They heard the noise of what was going on and they did try to remedy it. They have put solutions into place to double check what's going on with the polish and with the bottles for why it exploded. I think there are a few theories online right now where people are kind of re-examining their Mooncat polish bottles and noticing that the walls on the polish bottles are really thin in specific areas, specifically around the corners and kind of like the joints of the polish bottle. And that's a lot of where the stress and fracture points are within the bottle, causing it to shatter. So anyways, the company, Mooncat, sent out a distribution email, first email warning customers that this was happening, but again, you had to be on the email list to have received it. And then their second email was a follow-up in terms of what their actions were going to be coming out of this. And I read through that email, and I feel like they did take accountability for what was going on, but the actions that they listed implied that they weren't doing some steps that I think they should have as a kind of luxury point nail polish brand, as well as just like a brand owner as a whole thinking about the safety of their customers. So their first action that they mentioned in the email was they're discarding and replacing existing inventory in an effort to eliminate any potential risks for damage, which that's kind of like a low bar. If you are seeing more than one person experiencing a spontaneously combusting nail polish in their hand, immediately, it doesn't matter whether or not it's like the most financially beneficial choice to make. If someone gets injured by your product and it's due to your product and due to your negligence, you need to fix that as a brand owner. The next point that they had on here was slightly lowering our lacquer fill height. Specifically, they then go into talking about how generally they overfill the polish bottle so that you get more bang for your buck, essentially, and that lowering that fill height will help with some of the expansion and contraction of the polish ingredients as they go through transport and go through kind of different environments. I understand that, I get that. But at the same time, shouldn't your polish bottle be able to handle some of that expansion and contraction? Or even understanding and doing the research ahead of time to be able to accommodate for those different environments that your polish is going to be shipping through. It implies to me that they didn't do their due diligence from the beginning. And in the very next point that they make in their email, they say, conducting transport testing. As in, they're going to now conduct transportation testing to see how their polish and how their product would react as it moves through the country, as it moves through the different locations, which again, I feel like you should do from the beginning. And maybe this is oversimplifying it, and correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone is in the actual like production of nail polish, but it seems to me like there are simpler proxy tests that you could do to understand whether or not your packaging and how you're filling the nail polish bottles and all that. I feel like there are relatively easy tests to do without having to like ship a polish across the country to see if it would explode. Like, they not put it in like an oven or something? Again, this is me oversimplifying the problem. I totally understand that. Like, I'm not a brand owner. I'm just someone commenting, random person on the internet, right? Commenting about the situation. But it just seems quite interesting to me that this implies that this work that should have been done wasn't done from the very beginning. Their next point in the email talks about ongoing quality assurance audits, as in putting into place a process such that they make sure the quality of their product is up to standard every time. And again, having that in the email implies to me that they weren't doing that in the first place, which for a product like this where you're working with glass, I feel like you should be doing that testing relatively regularly regardless. Anyway, all that's to say with the Mooncat situation, I think the amount of response that they got was justified, because if you're having people getting sent to the urgent care, possibly the ER getting stitches for your polish randomly combusting in front of their hand, I would be up in arms as well. Like, people are truly getting injured and bleeding from this polish. And again, nail polish is supposed to be fun, right? Nail polish is supposed to be kind of a luxury item that makes us feel beautiful. Getting injured in the process of it isn't necessarily something that I would want to experience. Even the thought of like, do I just watch my collection and wait for things to explode? Like, what do you do with all of that? I think to sum up the whole Mooncat situation, one, it's a very valid response to have because it's actually injuring people. And two, Mooncat is at a much higher price point than I think other, even indie brands are at. So I think there's a higher expectation of quality assurance, of safety, of everything associated with buying a product. I do see that Mooncat now is taking the feedback in stride, and I appreciate that they're actually responding to it. I think this is a wake-up call for them to really do testing and do their due diligence to maintain safety within the product. Quick note on this mascara. I bought it from Gogo Tales off of YesStyle because it was like $5 and I was just curious to see if it would work. Doesn't hold a curl. If you need this to hold a curl, don't buy this mascara. But I've started already, so I must continue. Next event I want to talk about is within the indie nail polish community. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. This was specifically related to some information that came out about a nail polish brand owner where they were relatively new. I think they were under a year old, and they had talked about applying into one of the collab boxes and basically made some not so kosher comments about other folks in the community, specifically about a brand owner who was a person of color. And I'm not going to elaborate more than this. My channel in this little corner of the internet for me is welcoming to everyone. I don't stand for any hate to anyone regardless of the reason for it. Simply put, we do not tolerate harassment or hate in this house. And it's extremely saddening to see other individuals, from what I can tell, out of jealousy and spite, hate on other individuals. If you can't be kind to other people, just like, Don't say anything. Don't put it on the internet. There's no need to put that energy out into the world. I'm just gonna leave it there. Okay, now we're moving on to stuff that's not so heavy hitting and not so concerning. No one's getting injured here. No one's getting harassed or anything associated with that. But I did want to talk about Orly's collection, winter collection specifically this year. And the reason for that was it actually got a lot of response around the theming for the winter collection. To give context about why there was so much response, for the last, at least from what I'm aware of, the last 2 years, Orly has released their collections in fours for every season, their normal polish collections, and they've all had themes around them that made sense in sets of 4. The last 2 years' collections have been literary themes and then also art styles, I believe, and all of them fit within that category and they all worked with each other. It all made sense essentially. This year, it seemed like they were on track to do all 4 elements. They had, for spring, the Aquaphor collection, which is water. For summer, they had Cloudscape, which we could interpret as air. And then in fall, they had Terra Nova, which, I mean, I would interpret as earth, right? So if you have water, air, earth, the only element remaining that we haven't talked about is fire. So everybody was waiting for a fire collection for the winter collection, and we in fact did not get fire. Instead, we got the après-ski collection, which is very winter appropriate. I'm not gonna knock them for the winter theme there, but where's the fire? I think for me, it's less of like being up in arms about it and more of just confusion, because they were so on track to get a grouping of 4 that made sense and were on theme, similar to what they've done in previous years. And then suddenly they whip out a ski collection. In the card that comes with the collection, I mean, like, they briefly mention being around a campfire, so there was like mention of a fire somewhere in the marketing materials, but I was fully expecting just like a fiery red collection. I mean, even if it was themed around like a bright Christmas red, I think that could have been so pretty. But instead, we got a ski collection. And like, don't get me wrong, I think the colors of that collection are really pretty, but where's the fire? Where is the fire? I was expecting fire, and I got none of that. And then the last thing I want to talk about is more of a shout out. ILNP, I love you. Okay, the customer service that I have experienced from ILNP, second to none. It's been amazing. I've reached out to ILNP's team, the customer team, twice in my ILNP purchasing journey. The first time I was asking if I could replace the ILNP brushes. Backing up. ILNP's main brushes in their like normal line, me no likey. I do not like a flat cut across brush. It's not as bad as those like super skinny flat brushes, but it is still a little bit difficult to get like a smooth line within your cuticle. It's not the easiest brush. My favorite type of brush is a wide rounded paddle brush, and they in fact do not have that. So I reached out to ILNP asking if there were any replacement brushes that I could purchase, and they said that they do not, but they would be happy to send me any brushes that I wanted. And the reason that they do not have the like studio color brush on their normal line is because they've found that it doesn't distribute the special effects pigment. I need to stop talking while I'm doing this. They found that it doesn't distribute the special effects pigment as well as they want it to, and that's why they keep the current brush that they have. So, number one, thank you for giving me an explanation for why the brushes are the way they are. But then also, they still offered to send me those additional brushes. I, at the time, told them, no, I'm good. Thank you for giving me that context. Regret it now because I just bought a bunch of Cupcake Polish replacement brushes, and I just replaced my ILNP brushes anyways with Cupcake Polish. So I probably should have just asked for the replacement brushes from ILNP. But all that's to say, the first interaction I had with customer Support from ILNP was amazing. Most recently, I ordered from them again for Black Friday, and my package came absolutely demolished. Like, the top of the box that it was in just completely ripped off. Contents missing, literally nothing was in there except for the slip that said what I had ordered. And I reached out to ILNP and they literally responded within like 10 minutes of me emailing them and asking for like a replacement. I asked them if there was anything I should be doing to kind of get the ball rolling. And they were just like, yeah, we'll just send you a new collection. No thoughts. We'll just get you the product that you need. So fast. ILNP, customer service, great. Highly recommend. Okay, that's all. Thanks for getting ready with me and chatting about how the year for the nail polish community has gone. Let me know if there's anything that I'm missing or any context that you think would be good for me to have. Hope you all have a great holiday season. Happy holidays, happy New Year's. I'll see you on the flip side.